Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing this morning? I hope you all are off to a wonderful, fantastic start to your day. My day is going off to a fantastic start. If this is your first time here, then hi, my name is Carrington. Not your first time here, hi, welcome back. If you enjoy all things makeup, but also sprinkling in some book reviews and true crime, then definitely hit that subscribe button, click the little bell. If you enjoyed this video, then definitely give it a thumbs up. You can do that at the end. Of course, wait a little while to see if you enjoy this video. But if you do, definitely give this video a thumbs up. And let's go ahead and let's dive on into this video. It's my book ranking time, where like at the end of the month, I rank all the books that I've read. Usually I average about 5 to 7 books a month. In February, I read 2. I'm a little bit embarrassed. Truthfully, if you guys are excited to see what 2 books I read, what I think of them, then definitely keep on watching. All right, book number 2 is going to go to the book called Left to Tell. This is a nonfiction book. This is written by Blvd, who was a survivor of the Rwanda genocide. A lot of people I have found over the years do not know that much about the Rwanda genocide. The Rwanda genocide took place in 1994. There's technically 3 groups that they classified themselves as. There was Twa, which made up like 2%. There was Hutu and Tutsi. And the Hutus were starting to be fed some information from governments that it was the Tutsis that were trying to like overthrow the government and trying to like take over. This sparked a massive genocide. In the span of 3 months, at first it was estimated to be about 1 million people killed in the span of 3 months. As more bodies are being recovered, have been recovered, it is estimated that it was actually over 2 million people that were murdered in a 3-month span. That is a ton of people in such a short amount of time. The end goal was to murder all Tutsis, and Twas were also murdered as well. They were already seen as less than before this all started. Luckily, a rebel army group of Tutsis came in and stopped the Hutus, and now there's peace. This is just about her story only. There are lots of other stories out there. I first got introduced to this whole this whole entire part of history because of a movie that came out called Hotel Rwanda. I watched that when I was younger, and that really sparked like my interest. When I went to college, I had 3 majors, and 2 of which, when I did my thesis, was about the Rwanda genocide. So psychology was just like basically talking about the Rwanda genocide and like the psychological trauma and how that's still like a lasting effect today. And then I also talked about it a little bit in my religious studies, where it was like religion could make you or depending on your experience with the religion in that time, usually the Catholic Church, could either make or break your faith, and I talked about that. So this is all about Blvd. It starts off, the book just kind of starts off talking about like her life from when she was little, and talking about how like her family were like really well off. They were really respected in the community. She had never heard of like, there's like a Tutsi and a Hutu and a Twa. Like she had never really been discussed with that with like her family until one day she was at school and they were taking roll call, and the teacher was like, if you are Hutu, stand up. If you are Tutsi, stand up. And she didn't know, because this is something she never talked about. Anyways, found out that she was, went home, found out she was Tutsi. And then it just kind of talks about like her life. She was saved because a pastor of hers saved her and 7 other women in a tiny bathroom. There's actually a picture in this book that shows the bathroom that 7 women lived in for these 3 months, right? Like these 3 months right here. This is the area, like that's as big as the bathroom was, that 7 women stayed in order to live. And all of her family was murdered except for 1 brother. Everyone else in her family was murdered. So it just really like talks about like her trials, her tribulations, her experience. This is definitely, it's a memoir book. It's a really, really good read. It's a really hard read, I will say. But I think it's definitely like very eye-opening to somebody's experience. So if you are really into like history and, reading like memoirs and things like that, I think you will really enjoy this. I do really enjoy this book. I think it's a really good book. Again, it's just like a really hard book to read, hard book to stomach. Granted, it's not very many pages. It's like literally 200 pages. It's like a 200-page book, so it's not very long. But it's definitely one where I have to go slow because some of the things that you read are just so gut-wrenching that I just need to sometimes just like put it down and just like have a few minutes. The number one book that I read this month that I loved is called In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife. This kind of got me. Like it was interesting. So basically, this is about, it's kind of from the point of view of like one person. And it's time for them for their like, their college reunion. And so they go back to college and they are confronted with reliving the night that one of their friends died. So I think there was like a group of like 6 or 7 of them. I can't remember the exact number. There's like a group of 6 and 7 of them that were just inseparable. And then one of them died. One of them was murdered. And so when you're like going through the book, it kind of goes back and forth from like them being at, like the reunion to back in time in college. And when I'm reading this, I literally think I'm like, okay, I think I know who did it. Like I know who murdered the girl. And I was like half right and really like 100% like half wrong. I feel like I was more wrong than I was right, truthfully. This threw me for a loop. It definitely had some parts in there that I wasn't expecting, but in a way like I was kind of expecting it too. It's definitely one of those weird ones. So it definitely goes back. It talks about the murder. It talks about where like everybody was that night. And it also like throws you like a little bit about how like each person in a way was kind of guilty for the murder, but like not really, because not all of them like murdered the person. Like one person murdered her, but like they all kind of had like some intricacies about the murder. I don't know. It's one you have to read, but it's so good. Like literally, I could not put this down. This I finished. This is like what, 400 pages or something like that? 340 pages, and I literally read it in like 2 days. The unfortunate part this month is that I did a lot of like working from like sun up to sundown, so I didn't have a ton of time to read, which isn't usually always the case during the week. Usually I feel like I have a pretty good amount of time to read. This month I just didn't. So last month, I guess, now it's March. But this month I'm starting to pick up on my reading again, so really excited to see what books I read and how I rank those. So those are the only 2 books I read. Those are both really good books. I would definitely recommend both books. I think they're both really good reads. So if you guys enjoy book reviews, rankings, then definitely give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button because I'm going to do this again at the end of this month. So if you guys want to see what books I'm reading and how I rank them, and to get a little synopsis about them, then definitely hit that subscribe button, click the little bell. But that is it. I will see you all in my next one. Bye!